What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I wanted to share with you a couple of battles today, and they're all in bronze. And for people who don't know, I'm running the Aftersound Nifty account in bronze. That way I'm getting a better idea of what the new player experience is like. And I have to say that the meta shift in bronze has been fundamental, like in terms of just adding so much more variety to the gameplay. And a huge part of that was the soulbound summoners and the associated gladiators that come with that account, or that come with that. So before getting into this, and let me go ahead and play some of the battles now, but before Chaos Legion came out, and even after Chaos Legion came out, it's always been Jötunn and Lamacron, right? And I rent Jötunn and Lamacron for fun in the Bronze League just to see how things are going. But here is a battle where you have, Lamacron up against, the Martyrs, right? So the Martyrs plus Khora. And you're going to see here that even with even with Khron getting the Martyr ability plus Last Stand, I'm still going to end up struggling with this and lose the battle to Khora, who is not even double martyred, only single martyred in that sense, right? But just enough damage coming from the Gladiator cards with just one. Like, Khora didn't even kill anybody. That's the crazy thing. It's just how powerful some of these cards are now. So there's one battle, right? Taking out where I lost, just trying to Lamacron my way through. Here is another battle where I have Jötunn up against Khora once again. Now, there is a Khron on the other side, so you can, maybe discount this one a little bit, but Jötunn used to be one of the go-tos. Now, Jötunn would generally lose to Lamacron unless it was a higher mana battle, and this is something that you can see is clearly 20 plus, right? 38 mana. So normally, if somebody was doing Lamacron, Jötunn's able to do a lot of damage, and that's one of the, I wouldn't say necessarily counters, but I mean, you'll see here very quickly that things are going to spiral out of control with the double martyr, and then of course the gladiator ability here. But ultimately, when we look through these battles, and again, these are just small little anecdotes here, so it's not, I wouldn't say that it's the perfect thing, but there's a ton of battles. You can ask anybody who's playing in bronze. The meta is just completely different now, and it's all for the better. When I think back to bronze pre-Chaos Legion, it was obviously Lamacron and Jötunn, but Mylar was actually one of the bigger cards too, mainly because it was so dominant in bronze, and we didn't have the Chaos Legion cards come in. Plus, it's much less scarce, right? There's a lot more, or there were a lot more Mylars around at the time, even though it was still a decent amount to, actually rent one out. But here's the final battle that I'm going to show, and I haven't even mentioned this summoner yet, but here is my level 1 Soulbound Summoner beating down on Kitty with a bunch of legendaries on the other side. So again, this is going to come down to the wire, but it just goes to show how powerful some of these cards can be. And you can see the deck that I'm using, it's all level 1 cards, right? So this is essentially a novice deck. It's not even maxed for bronze. It's not even eligible to be, maxed for bronze. Everything is just level 1 here, but here's a Soulbound card that I'm using. Here's like an old reward card, right? And then of course, Captain Katie, who is obviously phenomenal. So we'll go ahead and play this, but you're seeing wins over Lamacron. You're seeing wins over Jötunn. You're seeing wins over Kitty. And I don't have a Mylar battle in this, but I have beaten Mylar many times with the lineups. Actually, there might be a Mylar, but we'll skip it for now. But the main point that I'm trying to say here is that the overall meta has shifted dramatically, and I genuinely think it is for the better. It's made bronze just so much more interesting, and as a player who plays at the highest levels, right? And I don't have a complete deck, so it's not perfect, but I do enjoy playing at the Diamond Plus level with all the new abilities. I'm actually having a ton of fun in in bronze, which is surprising to say the least, right? So here you can see Captain Katie's about to go off the rails right now. And again, it works out perfectly, right? Get the Bloodlust there, block some damage, get another Bloodlust, and then boom, Kitty's essentially done. But in a way, there's so much variety now in bronze that I think that by far it is so much more fun to play now. Now, if you're a newer player coming in, and I'd love to get the perspective of any new players coming in, I'm very curious to know, or well, here, I did beat Myler, but I beat him with Yoden, so we won't watch that. But I'm very curious to know, what has been your experience so far? And if you are a newer player, I would say that getting into a guild or setting up your own guild is probably something that should be top priority, because even at level 1, some of these gladiator cards are just ridiculous, right? And I showed you just a couple today. Obviously, you got to see Korra in action, and Korra is a little bit more difficult to get. But Captain Katie, that's a rare card. You should be able to get that relatively easy. Another one that I didn't show off today, and but I do talk about a lot, is Isgald Vorst. So let's actually go to gladiator cards, and let's just do all cards. Not just Earth. There we go. But, some of my favorite cards to use is Isgald Vorst, Ketralba Gobson, Bertrald Gobson, all of these common cards. Yes, I do have a Korra. I do have Captain Katie. I've even used Ajax Lightfoot in certain instances with General Sloan. So ultimately, the implementation of Soulbound Summoners, and then, of course, the Soulbound cards, with Martyr being just such a big ability, has really shifted the meta. And I think that this is something that has not really been recognized, just because people haven't really played in Bronze as much until the recent bot or human-only change. And even though I was playing, a lot of the times I was going up against very optimized lineups in Bronze that were using like starter Untamed cards just to, climb the leaderboards. They didn't care about rewards. So now that it's changed, I go up against people who are being much more thoughtful with their lineups and not just doing like, what the computer says is best, whether you win or not, right? So at the end of the day, Bronze is just way more fun. And I find myself not winning as many battles with lineups that I thought would win in the past, or at least have traditionally won for me in the past. But as I said, to me, that's a good thing overall. It adds way more variety. And now Bronze is actually interesting. It's actually fun to play. And I look forward, this is an account that I'll probably keep in Bronze for the time being. But I look forward to, any new sets that come out, any new reward cards that come out, because it doesn't take a lot in order to max your cards or max summoners for Bronze. Bronze is one of the cheapest, or is the cheapest, I should say, and easiest levels to play at. And if it's fun in Bronze, I would say that's a win, because it only gets more fun the higher you climb in levels. But if you can make it fun at the lower levels, which I would argue has been dramatically increased, the levels of entertainment in Bronze, and it's not just me, you're seeing people all across the board talk about playing in Bronze and having fun in Bronze. That to me is a major win for the game, and should be, if it's not already, a huge selling point to bring people in right now. But that is all I have for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.